This is the Negro Ninja. And hoes claim not to be a monolith until they decide to gang up on the nigga. Okay, this happened to me in 2023. I'm minding my own Negro business at a Wild Wings in a rural area. Okay, so I walk into this Wild Wings and see two white hoes right here. Okay, and they're giving me the googly eyes because I come in there right after a workout wearing that black crunch cutout shirt that I'm always wearing in thumbnails and oiled up and pumped up. Okay, and I'm giving them the equal amount of attention as I'm talking. Okay, very respectful to them. Okay, even treating them better than what they actually look. And I was like, yeah, I just need some wings to go. And they direct me to the bar, which is about right here. So I go and sit down and they go to the chairs, that's about right here. And then the looking game starts. And, they had some pretty decent booties, I ain't gonna lie. They straight. Nothing to really complain about. Okay. But the bartender is a little bit better looking than them. Okay. And she has, those tight blue jeans that you be seeing them bartenders wear with the upside down heart shaped booty. Okay. She either a six or approaching it, look a little bit better. So everything is good, but the bartender was really feeling herself. She had a bigger ego. She really thought she was the junk. But I'm checking her out anyway because, a rainbow zombie's checking me out. So you really got to send a message. Okay, but since he's a white rainbow zombie, that didn't really last. He left me alone. So, the looking game starts, me and the chicks. Okay, and I notice how the flow of the bar is. People get their order and the bartender gives them the order and they leave. And that continues. And I noticed that my order's taking a long time. I'm like, didn't I place my order before this nigga? Whatever. All right. So I get up and go to the bathroom. My order still ain't ready. Then I receive a phone call. They still ain't ready? Yeah, I'm still waiting. Like, I'm taking a long ass time with this order. Okay. So I'm just waiting and waiting. And then when I notice that the bartender and the two girls disappear seemingly at the same time. I'm like, what are you? And it's taking so long. I hope they're going to get my order. Okay, so when my order finally comes, it's brought to me by a fat bitch. Okay, she was white too, a fat white bitch. Okay, and I'm thinking to myself, where did this bitch come from? I didn't see this bitch when I came in. I didn't see her when I got up and go to the bathroom. What's going on? Okay, and it really pissed me off. Okay, it rubbed me the wrong way immediately because I know that they was up to something. Okay, and those bitches were never to be seen again. Okay, but that's the BS that men have to go through. Hoes don't go through stuff like that. Okay, bitches do not go through that type of stuff because men don't try to humble hoes. We don't do that. We need to try to humble hoes, but we don't. Okay, now you just saw the monolith in action. Okay, the egos on these hoes. Now, once again, I came in there. I was very respectful. Okay, I treated every bitch as if they was not what they were. Hey, how y'all doing? I wasn't acting like they was average bitches. Okay, so you can't say that I'm conceited. Okay, matter of fact, I wasn't really doing nothing but just asking for my order. It's just that simple. But bitches make things into what is not. Okay, because we all know that women at jobs, in most cases, cannot be professional, even when they seem professional. And this ain't true for all of them, but this is true for way too many of them. Okay, they cannot do their job without being a woman. Okay, a man can do his job, and he's just doing his job. He not, I'm trying to be a man. Okay, he just doing a job. Okay, that's not to say that there can't be some bitches and be personal, but that's a whole nother story. But what goes through a woman's mind in many cases is this is a guy in front of me, and he's not doing what I think he should be doing in my mind. He must be punished for that. Okay, why he ain't talking to us? Why he ain't trying to get our number? Okay, bitch, I'm here to eat. And then the hoe will have that thought with the intentions of curving you. That's what make this extra stupid. Yeah, but I just want to know that he at least made the effort to get curved. Bitches claim that they're not a monolith until they gang up on a nigga. Okay, now here's another work story that happened in the same year. Okay, and at this job, I was pretty much the only dude there because the other dudes was Rainbow Zombie. Okay, the main manager, he was a Rainbow Zombie, and the other guy, he was a Rainbow Zombie. And they're not really a looker either. So I'm basically the only guy at the job. It was an Indian guy there that was straight. But so we the only two straight guys, but they ain't really thinking about him like that. All right. So clearly I'm the only dude there and I'm the eye candy. But that's not what bitches came into sync with. Okay. They came into sync with each other. So how you the only dude there that look better than any nigga that they have ever seen? Even the customers don't compare. Okay, and these are not dusty customers all the time. They be business people, people with a purpose. So they come there looking good too, between the dusties. Okay, now when I first got in there, I was already rubbed the wrong way. I was going to do the interview and I see the hoes pass me, act like I wasn't shit. So I'm like, whatever. And then later on, a cool black lady told me the truth about what was going on, which proved what I was thinking in my mind. But we're gonna get to that later. Okay, basically, when they going out of their way to ignore you, they talking about your ass. Okay, they're not ignoring you. Okay, they player hating. So I get hired, and then the girls always being touchy and this, that, and this. I'm like, well, they always touching people. And I was just sitting up there being trained one time while just listening to what was going on. I have on a blue shirt. It's pretty tight and it's showing, the chest and the abs, so and all that stuff. And I got my arms crossed and I see the girl, the main bitch at the job. Okay. And she's not attractive. No, she's funny shape. She got her moments. She put on makeup and look okay, somewhat cute, big titties or whatever, blonde hair and all that stuff. You know, she's entertainable if you're desperate, I guess. But anyway, she was just looking at me like, look at him. Telling me, oh, look at him. He think he's so pretty. And that's what she was telling me a lot of time. He's so pretty. Saying stupid stuff like that, or like if I make a mistake, because I'm in training, I'm like, of course I'm not gonna know this stuff yet. Oh, my bad. She'll be like, but isn't he pretty? I'm like, well, dang, a nigga can't make a little simple mistake. Okay, but it don't just stop there. Okay, the customers also was throwing shade too. So you get hired, and clearly I dress better too. So instead of people, just giving me credit where it's due, they'll just start complimenting anybody that's beside me. And they do that at pretty much dang near every job I've been at, though, to be honest with you. But I'm like, dang, how come everybody get a compliment every time I come to the front? That don't even make sense. Do they compliment them when I'm not there? Okay, and they will go out of their way to do it too. And to put things in perspective, this is a little rural area, so I'm pretty sure racism is also a factor in that behavior too. I mean, I get a direct compliment once in a blue moon, but they'll go out of their way to compliment these dusty bitches there. Okay. But you know how dumb that is to be surrounded by some people that is not up to par, being called beautiful, pretty all day in front of you. Okay, this is a common occurrence at dang near every job I've been at, by the way. But once again, stupid is stupid. You never really get used to the stupidity. It just always annoy you equally. Okay, because it is a psyop. Okay, then here's another different example of that type of stuff. Every job I've been at, I do a good job, but people kind of take it for granted. I do something, they entitled to it. Okay, but when the girl that I just mentioned, she does something, they're like, that's the best thing that has happened to them in their entire existence. Nobody has ever been this good to me. Okay, she just doing the bare minimum like everybody else. Okay, but she'll just take it a step further with how she talk and just be, hey. So they think that's the best thing in the world. It makes zero sense. Okay, so as I continue working, They just start to act dumber, each month. It was cool. Then by the time the fourth month get there, you know how it is with hoes, and you being surrounded by hoes, you already know that's a lot to deal with. Okay, then I come to find out that there was player hating behind my back. Okay, like, oh, the Negro Ninja doesn't engage the customers. I'm like, how do I not engage the customers when I'm just professional? What do y'all want me to do? Okay, they want you to be. I'm like, I'm not a female. I'm not finna be asking people personal questions. I'm not finna be asking how they day went and oh, how's your aunt? Like they don't make any sense. I'm fit. My job is to be at this register, put you in, check you in, or whatever I'm doing, and get you out of my face, answer any questions, or solve any problems. I don't understand. What am I supposed to be doing? Yeah, we want you to play with the customer. I'm like, you ain't supposed to be playing with people at no customer service job. That ain't, and first of all, I'm a dude. You can't play with people like that. Okay, even though I know some dudes that do it, but that's because they're white. Like when you're black, that's what they hate to hear too. People don't want to. Black people have to really be on their P's and Q's when talking to other people, including other minorities. Okay, and it just goes to show you the distance between black and white with how out of touch the Caucasian is with reality. You can't play like that when your skin is dark because they always looking for reason to get you in trouble. Okay, I have even tested it to see. They'll just be like, like some people, they'll play back, but I'm like, yeah, see, I'm not listening to y'all. I told y'all that was stupid. Okay, it don't matter how kind you are to some people. Some people are just gonna growl at you. Okay, they give you that fake niceness, but once the opportunity comes, they snap at you, which means that they was being fake the whole time. Okay, and then this same bitch I was just telling you all about, she'll come and buy you food and all that stuff and be behind your back, player hating on you. Okay, so eventually, a girl that I never got to work with, I just used to say hey to, finally caught me on the shift we worked. Oh, I'm glad to see you, man. I got to tell you so much. They've been player hating on you. I'm like, hold up, for real? Everybody up here, yeah. Because the way that was player hating, like they fake, but you like it just it's mind boggling. You know, talking about you like you are a problem, like you out there arguing with everybody or something. I'm like, I don't do nothing but just chill, and it's an easy job too, by the way. And then she was like, yeah, that's what I be telling them. All you do is work and go home. You just be back there minding your own business. And they hate that. I'm like, dang, that's every job. Yeah, leave. Okay. And then she starts telling me what happened when I first got there. Like I said, I knew they was going out of their way to ignore me on purpose. I'm like, I know they talking. So she tells me that as soon as I got up there, they had a meeting in the kitchen. Oh my God, who is that? He is so handsome. He's extra handsome. Oh my gosh, he's really handsome. Wow. Is he single? Is he married? Okay, but come to find out, that little bitch was telling them not to mess with me. Okay, it all adds up because, you know, after a while, I just started peeping how they all kiss up to her. Okay, and by their standards, she do look good. Okay, she don't actually look good, but I said by their standards, she look good. And then when you hear you look good 24/7 by the customers and the workers, what else are you to think? Okay, y'all think I'm exaggerating about the psyop that goes on up there, because there was one chick that was there who had and I don't like picking at people, but her teeth was, it was a basically a yuck mouth. It was all messed up. Okay, and people are looking at this girl with a straight face. You're so beautiful. Okay, like it's offensive. She doing something about it now. Okay, but this is a customer service position. Okay, and they will look at that chick in front of me and give her the compliment and act like I ain't shit. Okay, these are customers doing it too, by the way. Okay, now once again, I can give a dang less about some compliments. Oh, I want to be complimented. That ain't what it's about. It's about you knowing that people going out of their way to do a psyop. Okay, this is, you mind your own business, but how can we attack him? Who he thinks he's the junk. I'm like, first of all, I know I'm the junk. Okay, But I don't sit around thinking I'm the junk. If I know I'm the junk, why do I have to think it? Okay, nigga, I'm just trying to live like everybody else. I'm just here to work, you know. Okay, bitches claim that they're not a monolith until they gang up on a nigga. Now, this don't just apply to the female gender. Remember, bitches are the world and the world is a bitch. Anybody that is acting feminine are going to side with the female. Okay. Okay, the only time people are against vagina is when vagina has respect for the masculine. And you know that's not something you're going to see on a regular basis. Okay, and to drive this monolith part home even more, they all gather around to kiss up to this particular chick, the one that, oh, don't mess with him. Okay, because she mad that I don't care for her like that. She mad that I'm not really into her like that. I'm like, you got a nigga, so what you care about what I think? Okay, it's that ego. An ego to a whole is not necessarily just herself. It goes much deeper than that, but we can talk about that in another video. Okay, but the point I'm trying to illustrate is these bitches are a monolith. Okay, so you just the eye candy at a job. You're the only opposite gender that's actually the opposite gender. Okay, but all the bitches there are not trying to kiss up to you. They kissing up to another bitch. It don't make any sense. This is like the second job similar to that. You know, I know y'all remember the warehouse job with all the hoes that was all on my nuts and still didn't do nothing, you know. They was still answering the pussy at that job. They was answering to two pussies at that job. The two pussies had all the pussy at that job. Okay, once again, that ego goes deeper. Let me know if you want a video on what I want to say about that. Okay, bitches are a monolith. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're a dude surrounded by women, and especially if you're the eye candy, nigga, you in hell. Okay. Women make it a hell around a man. Okay, but let a man be surrounded, hold up. Let a hot girl, that's the eye candy at the job, be surrounded by mostly dudes. And I'm pretty sure her story would be less negative than this. Okay, she pretty much gonna be a president in that situation, or a queen, or actually a king even. Okay, because dudes know when to turn off the competition. Dudes, you know, usually just compete with other dudes. Okay, I'm better than you. A chick, oh dang, she's cute. How you doing? Okay, a hoe, they compete with each other. They see a hot dude. What does this nigga think he is? He think he the ruler? Okay, they become more competitive, more aggressive, more devious. Okay, they don't bow down. Oh my God, he's so handsome. Okay, and you just saw that they did it behind my back. But who cares what people say? Who cares about praises that people give you behind your back? Okay, with the way they was acting, you know, I would have never known, you know, I had a hunch they was doing it behind my back. But a girl told me. But with the way they act, you would never know. Okay, then people be like, you should know that this girl like you with how stupid she treats you. That's not realistic. Because these be the same niggas. If you like her, you need to go and talk to her. Man should be passive. Okay, and this is why you can't take people like that seriously, because they're just a girl being a monolith as well. Okay, because that takes from you to you for you to always be the one that should act right in a situation. Yeah, just act right and give her everything. Okay, versus a hoe, I like you, but you would never know. Like, they don't make it, like, how's that productive? Okay, that's not even productive to bitch. Okay, I remember my ex was telling me a long time ago, like when I was talking to her, she was acting like it was done. I'm like, I didn't even think he was really into me like that. She was like, yeah, you know, she was talking to me and she was making herself calm the whole time with a straight face. Oh no, I don't talk about that. You know, like when you're just in that stage of just talking before, you know, it starts to get interesting. Okay, then this cool black lady was just pretty much telling me a lot of stuff that they talk about while I'm not there, you know. And I'm like, hold up, this bitch should have been talking to me. How old is she? And she do that? And why she ain't tell me she do it? Yeah, she really like you. She, especially her, she really, I'm like, so after all that, she leave. So that just made me despise her. I'm like, oh, I hate these bitches. You know, some young hoe that they, you know, pretty much made quit because they kept bullying her. There was a couple of young hoes that liked me, but you would talk all that behind my back and act all uppity or even act like they hate me towards me. Oh, she's just shy. She just have to get to know you. Now, like I said, a shy bitch is a passive bitch because they was all kissing up to that big titty bitch that I just spoke of earlier. It don't make any sense. Okay, they all gather around, give her stuff on the birthday and before the birthday. She was a god to those people. That was crazy. Okay, and it just shows you how much women value pussy over dick. And that's all I got to say for this message. And this has been the Negro Ninja bringing you your Negro message for today. Negro out.